Hi, welcome to this lesson. So we've been looking at the DOM, what the document object model is. So I want to tell you before, full disclosure, this is a beginner's course, right? This is a beginner's course, so I'm just going to be talking about the basics of it. I'm not going to get into a lot with regards to document object model because then it'll get into advanced territory. So just like we looked at the basics of objects, we're going to be looking at the basics of document object model. Okay, so I want to tell that before we get started. Okay, so in this particular lesson, we're going to be looking at something like this: getting elements from HTML using JavaScript. Okay, so if you want to manipulate, to manipulate an element, you have to get it first, right? So as I said before, every element of a HTML page can be changed by your JavaScript DOM. Okay, DOM is document object model. But in order to change an element, you need to get it first. You need to find it in your page. You need to find where it is in your page, and you need to retrieve it first. Okay, and that's when you can change it or manipulate it. So an easy way to do that is by using the ID of the element. Okay, that's the easiest way because it's unique and you can just grab it by its ID like that. So it's very easy. So as long as you know the ID, it's very easy to know which element you're referring to. So that's the easiest way of doing it. Okay, so to start off, let me create a paragraph like this, okay, in my HTML, and I'll give it an ID of a para like this, okay, and I'll not give anything inside of it here because I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to do all of that with my JavaScript. Okay, so you can see how that works. All right, so how do you do that? Okay, to get an element, first you have to give something like this. First you have to say where that element is. So far, if according to me, that element is inside of the document that is connected to my script. So I haven't really connected the document yet, so I connected it, but I didn't remove it, I guess. Okay, I can say something like script. Okay, now I've connected it. Okay, I've connected everything. So we have a paragraph which has nothing inside of it right now, and a script that's connected to script.js and everything. Okay, so that's fine. So according to me, the element I want is inside of this document, right? Inside of the document that is connected like this. Okay, so how would I do that? And also, before I start, I want to tell you that I've created a style.css as well, and I've connected that as an external style sheet from my HTML as well. Okay, so to start off, this is a document. So first of all, I have to call the document because I'm trying to get the element from the document. Okay, so call the document first, and then I can say get element by ID like this. Okay, so this is a predefined method in JavaScript, get element by ID, and if it's added to this, it's basically saying get the element inside of the document with the ID that I'm going to give. And inside of here, you can give your unique ID within your quotes, always within quotes. It should either be double quotes or single quotes. That's not a problem, but you have to give your quotes before you give your ID like this. It has to be the exact same ID because these are case sensitive. So if your ID is all small letters, if you give it like this, it's not going to work. Okay, so give it in the exact same case it was created. Okay, also in get element by ID, E is caps, B is caps, and I is caps. So always remember that if you leave any of it out, you're going to get an error. Okay. So right now my ID is actually para, right? So I'm going to try to get that. So document.getElement by ID para. Okay. All right. So great. Now, okay, great. So now we have our document, but how would you know that? How would you know you've actually gotten the document? Well, you can probably do a console.log of it to see if you've actually gotten the document or not. All right. So that's an option. Well, you have. See, now your document, this particular thing, it has the paragraph with the ID and everything, right? So on the other hand, you can probably assign it to a variable like this, so you can manipulate it further later on, and then do a console.log if you want to look at the element that you just retrieved. Okay, see, that works the same. So you can do that. Okay, so that's how you get an element from your HTML page by using the ID of that particular element. Get element by ID. Okay, you're going to get an element from the document. Alright, so that's the first part of our document object model. So let's look at the other things in the next lesson. I'll see you there. Thank you.